Whether you loved it or hate it, everybody is talking about that Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show. So what did y'all think?
I loved it. I'll just say that from jump.
Y'all concur?
It was great. It was
Art.
Yes.
I like how you said love it or hate it because hate won the night.
Hate really did.
That was the
Right,
theme
James.
of the evening. Was just hate.
People not hating
was
to their
so
full
much
capacity
hate.
out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Who was the most hated, though? Was it Drake?
Obviously. But you know what's funny? I saw a tweet. They're like, he didn't even play We Gonna Be All Right. You could tell he was not in the mood for any positivity.
There was no unity here.
All negativity.
Well, I was a little disappointed by that, but I did remember that he played all right at
in LA.
Exactly. So he didn't want to
3 years ago.
repeat, probably. But honestly, for me, the highlight was Serena. Like, I was with a group of other Black professionals, and the moment Serena started sea-walking on that stage, we all just burst into screaming. Like,
Tweeted it out immediately.
It was
Literally
just
just
the best.
Serena.
I just started texting everybody.
Serena
like,
Williams.
No context
most recent text. Just, is that Serena?
I know,
At the
because she
Super
was
Bowl?
kind of like, she just popped in.
Was that
right?
supposed to be a surprise, or was it Samuel L. Jackson?
That had to have been the
okay.
surprise.
Yeah.
I think,
don't know
but
what the surprise was.
I was also surprised by Samuel L. Jackson.
Me too.
Right? That was
It was
unexpected.
perfect Uncle Sam, too. All of it played well. The storyline, even the themes. I'm sure you guys have seen the rabbit holes of people like, here are all the nuggets you missed. But I just love the way they framed the story throughout the 12 minutes. It's crazy that it's only 12 minutes, but
You loved that framing.
Yeah, you didn't
You
like
love that. A lot of people. No, I like the framing too. My favorite
happening, James? What's going
reaction
on?
though, because like, listen, right? Like, obviously, there's a lot of people of a certain persuasion that had some negative feelings about Kendrick Lamar being, you know, this headliner at the Super Bowl. But there's like this weird subset of people that were like, I'm so happy that we're patriotic again. And we're putting like the flag on display and the red, white, and blue and Uncle Sam.
because they didn't understand the message.
Clearly missed
They
it.
did not understand the message. They misunderstood the assignment.
Literally,
He's
it went over
standing.
everybody's
Everyone's
head, but
head.
it just didn't. It went over in a couple of different directions, but it went over everybody's
Well,
head.
it's interesting because it was this kind of play on patriotism at what we would consider America's favorite sport, right?
Yeah, the biggest
next to
one.
baseball.
Yeah, well, I would say the NFL is big.
NFL is-
Yeah, and it is like the America's biggest sporting event every year, right? And I think, but the fact that like, he has these performers making the American flag, in a way, the president. Actually, I don't know if Trump was there at the moment.
I think he was there.
Been fascinated to see like Donald Trump's reactions to.
He left
to
after
Yeah,
the
he
halftime show.
left after. Turned his TV up.
Apparently that was planned, though.
That he
The
would
exit
leave
that he would
right
after the halftime show, but
okay.
the optics of it were
Well, it was
a bit
interesting
delicious.
because he did not say anything about Kendrick Lamar publicly after the game, but he did say something about Taylor Swift, right? Talking about how MAGA is unforgiving and
because she got booed.
Exactly.
Yes, I
But
did see that, yeah.
she, to be clear, she got booed by rabid Philly fans. Like it wasn't.
Yeah,
I was actually
They boo
trying to figure out why
anybody.
they
Yeah,
were. Okay,
yeah,
that's
Equal
fair.
equal opportunity.
One.
It absolutely did. But it's with the flag motif, right? The fact that, for one, all black bodies, everybody involved is black, and that idea of, listen, you might not necessarily think of it that way, but we are embedded in the fabric of this whole thing. We helped build this thing, but also the divided flag, right?
He stood between, right?
Exactly.
Both parts.
And he said it at one point. It's a cultural divide. I'm gonna put it on the floor, and that's what he did.
Not this brother taking me to English class.
No, I love it. But even to your point about the fact that this is America's favorite game, one of the biggest games in the U.S. And so for him, the theme of talking about the fact that this is a game, us being citizens of this country, and then kind of breaking down the fact that we're all playing the game, we're all trying to get a hustle, we're all trying to figure
Do you
out our
think the
place
Samuel
in this
Jackson
society.
cameo really drove that home?
I think that's exactly what made you. If you watched it properly, I think that's what makes you understand that he is talking about the culture of this country, and to your point, how we are embedded, whether they want us to be or not.
Well, I thought it was really interesting because part of the Uncle Sam character was talking about us as entertainment, right? Like us, here we are not only entertaining from the athletics part on the field, but also we're at the halftime show, but we're doing it at the highest level possible, right? So people are going to be watching, but let's not be performative about it. Let's do what we came to do, even with Kendrick, right? Like not necessarily performing all the hits, but really taking the show in the direction he wanted.
Yeah, that's the big one. He's been very upfront about that in the weeks leading up to it, that I want to be in the moment. I'm not trying to dwell on the past. I'm trying to be in the here and now. And for one thing, it's like, what is his moment, right? It's obviously G and X and, the rap beef, et cetera, et cetera. And he talked about Man at the Garden and the importance of that. I deserve it all, right?
I love that.
Why? Yes, yes.
And the acapella version?
Yeah, it's like, why you think you deserve the greatest of all time. But the other part of it is not just that, but what is our moment right now? Our moment is division. Our moment is, a certain amount of negativity and uncertainty. And he's saying, you know what? Let's push it all out there. Let's keep it 100. Let's talk about it.
But that's like the weird kind of like bizarro, ironic feeling that I had watching this too, and I'm sure a lot of y'all might have had it, where it's like the NFL is not really well known for its enthusiasm of black people.
Yeah,
So,
they took the end racism.
I mean,
signage
we
off.
solved it
Before
maybe.
the Super Bowl at that.
But like with like the taking out the end
Jalen Hurts
racism-
MVP.
Yeah.
taking out the end racism in the end zone, like the real message is like, Mr. President, please don't send the DOJ at us. That's what the end zone message should have been reading, especially with like how this particular administration is
Their version of pulling back.
yeah, attack on DEI.
That makes sense.
But so like in the context of all of that and the president being there, I think Kendrick Lamar's halftime show was this really intricate balancing act because he has had songs where he is calling out Donald Trump and he didn't do any of them. He didn't at least say any of the lines. But the message, I think, to folks who have been listening to the music, it came across, even without him saying it.
Yeah, I even think the whole Super Bowl kind of sent an interesting message. I mean, you mentioned Jalen Hurts. We just have to talk about him because
That is a great
Okay,
call.
well, we're gonna talk about it in a certain I know what you're over here talking about.
The I was in last night, full of black professionals. At one point, everyone started cheering, and I'm like, "Wait, are you all rooting for the Eagles?" They were like,
Yes.
"Yeah, because of the quarterback being black."
Love
No,
it's
everyone's
a
gonna
black
apologize.
team.
I mean, well, also Jalen Hurts being Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Well,
Hurts showing
Saquon
up
as
in that
well.
You think
purple
about-
ensemble, move out the way. Listen, I came to win. Go ahead.
I mean, you think about what sport means culturally, right? Like the Super Bowl is the premier holiday of American civil religion. Let's be real too. It is a Monday after the Super Bowl. It is criminal for us to be at work right now if you had the night that I had too.
But this is fun.
But
This ain't worth this.
that's good. That's good.
I was saying that it should be a national holiday.
100%.
Because
But-
why do we go to work for real?
But that's the thing, though, right? Like, it's the presence of Kendrick. It's the presence of someone like Jalen Hurts. It's the presence of someone named Saquon.
Right?
Putting up a
I mean, a
historic.
very arguably black team representing a very black city that also is where the Constitution was created. But to your point about Kendrick, it's like, well, yeah, we're here. Like, let's make it the spectacle that it needs to be.
Yeah, and there was the idea of like, honestly, it's like the biggest party in America, right? And for
right.
the most part, and I think what was so interesting about it is he dared us in the middle of having that party to think. And to have to be like, what do you mean we have to process, like what we really are? Because we don't want to do that. And that's why, one of the reasons why, not the only reason why, but part of why you would want maybe somebody like a Drake or or a Lil Wayne to be performing at the Super Bowl, because you want to have fun with it. You want to play the best songs and have a great time and just be like, yeah, I remember this from back in the day. And Kendrick is like, no. That's not what this is about. We are going to sit here. You gave me the stage, and we're going to do something meaningful.
Pick the wrong guy at the right time.
He said that.
But even that, right? Yeah, Gil Scott-Heron, right? And people just think about, oh yeah, the revolution will not be televised. Oh, it's just a cool line. Like, he was one of the progenitors of rap music. That song, you could point from Kendrick Lamar in a direct line to Gil Scott-Heron with the origins of rap music. And he says, you will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out.
Come on, Khari. Talk about it. Okay, but you mentioned Drake, and I'm curious, do we think at this point that Drake will ever do a Super Bowl? I mean, not in the recent future.
No,
he needs to-
we were talking about this before the show. Like that was like the one rapper who probably makes the most sense. who knows if you'll ever visit the United States again? Because I mean, so one of the things I thought about the American flag thing with
condemned
Kendrick,
Canada.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like obviously the imagery of this artist using the American flag at this very particular time in the country, but also Drake is Canadian, and that was sort of that was one of the first things. Like it's like yes, America, but also like
I mean,
Canada.
Shakira performed with J-Lo.
No, 100%.
But this is rap music.
I think this is more just like
It's different.
Drake has been. It seems utterly eviscerated. Yeah, it's like so. No, I can't see him performing a Super Bowl at this point in time.
Not even in like 10 years when we have we had that weird run in the 2000s. It was just kind of like everyone was like kind of washed. Like we got like a wash stones.
I could see that happening when he's like about to retire, and they're like, all right, let's finally give him a Super Bowl show.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like we should be clear that Kendrick not use the word pedophile with Drake, and that there is a lawsuit pending against
let the audience say it.
the allegations. He did. He let the audience say it. So we don't know where all of the cards are going to fall here, right? I think it's always safe. Everybody's like, oh well, this ended the beef, but we also said that with the Grammys. We said that with the album.
I mean, this was game over. I mean,
It's a game
trying to be
over.
funny, but at the end, even we were talking right before we started about and again, these are all like people's conspiracy theories are online, but the square, triangle, circle, and I'm missing another shape,
X.
But someone said online that may be a PlayStation code, but it's just like kind of a cheat code when it comes to playing video games. Again, going back to the theme of games, but then at the very end when we all see it say game over, and he looks right into the camera, we all know who he's talking to in that moment. Turn your TV off,
Okay.
it's over. The game is actually, I think it's
I hope
done.
it is.
I think so.
Unpopular opinion. I'm kind of tired of.
You know, me too. And
I'm
that's
ready
the
to
nail, I
move
think that's the nail in the coffin. The Super
Yeah.
Bowl is the most, international stage. I mean, obviously it's in the U.S., but
Super
people
Bowl.
watch it
Much
around the
closer
world.
in
Yes,
America.
yes.
So I
Well,
think that
no.
ends it.
And this Super Bowl, actually, the ratings went down from according to Samba TV, they went down 5% this year. With the halftime show specifically, went down 4%. So it's worth questioning whether people are still watching like they were. Like think about the ads too. The ads used to be such a focal point of this
Yeah.
entire viewing experience. And this year, we got the whole Snoop Dogg, Tom Brady,
I did not understand that one.
anti-hate.
Hey, man,
I looked up
hate
and
you.
it was like 10 seconds, and I was like, wait, what was that for? Even though it says at the end tag, it says end hate,
Yeah,
but
and I think it's notable because the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism, which is Robert Kraft's group that put out the ad, they did a similar ad last year, which was the first year that they did a Super Bowl ad, and that one was a little more pointed. And I think it was MLK's the speechwriter for his drafts, and so they had like not a celebrity or people would know from TikTok or Twitter or whatever. But like a serious person, and it like mentioned very specifically anti-Semitism
Yes.
and anti-black racism, and it made allusions at least to to police brutality. Whereas this one, we're just like each other, And I think that is sort of indicative too of to go back to choose love over end racism,
Yeah.
The cultural moment, because that came out the end racism stuff around 2020, around
Yes.
George Floyd, and the
And the
NFL
tides have turned.
Right, the NFL on the
Also-
pressure
Tides
players.
turned back.
Yeah,
because we don't want
in
to
this
talk about
ad,
this.
Yeah.
right, and the two people in this ad are both aligned with Donald Trump.
Well,
Which-
in a
In a way.
In a way, yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
yeah,
Not a line like Brittany Mahomes is Mel's.
Oh,
well, yeah.
listen.
But I mean, Tom Brady with the MAGA hat in his locker and all the, that dredged up at the time, and then Snoop Dogg performing at, Donald Trump's inauguration.
Yeah.
And you could see that as a lot of look, exactly like you said, like let's just like each other. And, I think that
But it's
there's.
stop hate selectively, and that's what frustrates me, because we decide which groups we want to protect at a given time, and if we're going to preach this message of ending hate, it should be for all. It's like, it sounds like the all lives matter type argument, but it's like, if we want to focus on ending racism, that should focus on everyone that's dealing with
If
racism.
they want to end
not just
racism,
one
they
person.
should have run the buy a Coke commercial.
I had a friend who
That's honestly, that would have done it.
And
what
listen,
we need
I
to
mean,
see.
if they really were serious about ending racism, I think it all goes back to how they treated Colin Kaepernick. That was put on
Robert
the
Kraft should have
table
given him a
and-
job.
But this is sort
It
of
looked kind of rough.
this is sort of the point of the NFL only did the end zone stuff because of the players, right? And these we can't really expect the leagues to try to push forward for this, because any actual change historically hasn't come from the executives or the owners, which the leagues are. They're a collection of owners.
Yeah.
It's the players who have pushed forward. Whether that's guys like Kaepernick or Kareem or Bill Russell, that's where change has actually come from, not the leagues, who, as we've seen now, when the cultural moment has shifted from Black Lives Matter to the current administration, they sort of back away from what has sort of that cultural force behind it.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
what
sure
real
this
change
is
is?
not the last Super Bowl that we'll be talking about, and definitely not the last halftime show. Esteban, James, Kwani, Khari, thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this conversation, let us know in the comments what you thought about the Super Bowl and about the halftime show, and don't forget to like and subscribe.